Hey yo, what's decent? Yo, what a challenging week it is for me. In the midst of going to work and coming home, I also had a giveaway that I had recently. I gave away a whole bunch of 4 to 5 IV Pokemon to a whole bunch of viewers that continuously keep up with me. And at the same time, commentated a video for somebody else, working on Pokebank Pokemon that I want to showcase to you guys. And in the midst of it, having a battle right here, right now. When do I ever go to sleep, man? I definitely need to use the rest sleep talk combo myself. So anyway, my opponent's going to lead up with Staraptor, make a hasty U-turn out into Gliscor, hoping to completely wall me, which Gliscor in a sense does, but not before knocking off his Toxic Orb, disabling its ability to inflict itself with its poison status. That is awesome. So now in the midst of, like, let's say later on that I decide to deal with the Gliscor, because I'm going to have to if I want to win, I can now inflict it with a status of my own. And that's great that I'm able to get the Pinsir with the poison. That's exactly what I was aiming for, because as you guys know, when it Mega Evolves, it becomes Bug and Flying. And as you guys know, when it inherits a Flying type attribute, it's no longer affected by the Toxic Spike. So I was glad that I was able to inflict the poison status onto that. That's awesome. So in comes my Aegislash after he gets a +1 after finishing up my Drapion. I didn't want to switch into my Aegislash right away, just in case he happened to predict that, because my Aegislash is on an air balloon, and plus, idealistically, I can go for the Shadow Ball on the Pinsir and inflict some damage onto it. Coupled with the poison damage, Mega Pinsir won't be in there for too long. So he switches into Staraptor. I predicted that and went for the Sacred Sword. I'm going to go into my Walrein because I thought he was going to U-turn to try to knock off my air balloon so that maybe later on in the game he could come in with a Pinsir and go for the Earthquake and get a +1 before Mega Evolving. I'm thinking way ahead of this, man. So anyway, I'm going to bring in my boy Walrein to suspend the U-turn. He brings in Heatran, which I kind of wish he didn't do that, because now I can no longer bluff that I have a water type attack. I have nothing to hit the Heatran with my Walrein. So I had no choice in this case scenario than other than to switch to my Goodra, fake it a little bit like I don't have the Focus Blast, because he went for the Toxic as well as the Protect, and then afterwards I figured that he was going to go for the Protect, and on the Protect I went for the Dragon Breath, and then on the alternating turn went for the Focus Blast. So now I'm going to go for the rest now, because I figured he's going to want to Protect, because I guess with the poison damage coupled with the Magma Storm damage that I'm taking every turn, I think that'll be more than enough to finish me off at that point. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm incorrect about that, but I didn't want to take any chances since I'm Wrestle Chest, so it would be more beneficial for me to go to sleep, wake up, and be completely healed, unscathed by any more secondary damage that I've been taking previously with the Toxic. So now in comes his Gliscor, and now I'm just going to go and Focus Blast again. I'm thinking that it doesn't make sense for me to go for the Dragon Breath at this time, because just in case he happens to over-predict me, I mean, he can take another Focus Blast and decide to go for the Toxic and then Protect again and then switch out. I mean, I guess it would be more idealistic for him to keep as much hit points on his Heatran as possible, but I do have all the time in the world to switch up my moves if in case he does happen to switch out, and nothing on his team is immune to Dragon type, so everything has the potential of being fully paralyzed if I do score the 30% chance of the secondary effect of the Dragon Breath. But all of that is fine, because Gliscor is going to be able to knock me out as I'm taking all this damage from the Toxic, and plus I'm going to be able to revenge kill it. Well, I kill the Gliscor first, and then afterwards he's going to revenge kill me, I guess, after in the grave. Like, you ever get a kill in Call of Duty and it says like after the grave? Like, that's what that means. Like, you're dead and then like you score the kill while you're dead. It counts as a kill towards you. But anyway, in comes this Rotom, and I didn't put it to sleep because I felt like it had the Lumberry. It's just like, you know, like a freaking clairvoyance, like a premonition, you know, like Final Destination 2. Boom! Lumberry. So now in comes his Serperior, and then I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I do want to save my Smeargle for later on. I could probably get a Forsaken Web. It could probably be more beneficial for me later on. I decided to go into my Walrein just because I thought that he was going to use a support move like Glare and or Coil or something like that. I know I can take a +1 Leaf Blade from a Coil. I know I can do that. So I was gonna, like, my plan was gonna Encore him, but he just goes straight for the Giga Drain, which surprises me a little because I'm more physical oriented as opposed to being like having a special bulk with this Walrein as far as this Walrein is concerned. So it didn't, like, I'm not really used to seeing that. He predicted me to switch right here because I wanted to save my Walrein idealistically for later on. I do have the Frost Breath over Ice Beam because Frost Breath, given a 1.5 critical hit boost, is the same base power as what is now 90 base powered Ice Beam. So I like having the fact that I'm continuously scoring critical hits over a 10% chance to the freeze, even though freeze is more beneficial in this case. But since I'm using like toxic spikes, you know, I mean, it'll be kind of contradictory if I'm relying on freeze and poison at the same time. It's either or. Pick your poison, you know. Funny because it's poison. Get it? Because Superior is poison? Oh, that was kind of corny. But anyway, since Superior is out there, I figured I just probably should take advantage of the fact that Superior is in there. And I think that Superior cannot switch back in because I do have the rocks, and then if you couple it with the poison. So I'm thinking that he's gonna like go for the heat trend or something. So I'm trying to set up as much Swords Dances as possible. I'm thinking why he's not switching out is because he does have Staraptor, which is immune to ghost type attacks. So I can't exactly hit it with priority type attacks. So I'm trying to go for the +6. Initially, my thought process made me want to go for the +4, but I'm thinking like a +4 Shadow Sneak won't be enough to finish off the Rotom, let alone the heat trend. Heat trend is my biggest thing, and I'm kind of in the back of my mind wondering why he's not switching into that, especially if I went for the Swords Dance first of all, and then like I guess maybe he's trying to save it for later on, thinking that Staraptor can come in and finish it off as long as he continues to barrage attack me with the Giga Drain with the Superior. So I guess that's his thought process there. You guys noticed that he scored a critical hit on the initial switching with my Aegislash, and I'm going to show you why that's super important later on. So now after I get up my final +6, I'm going to stance change and kill this Superior with a Shadow Sneak, and boom baby. So now I switched up my EV investments just for this battle, and it's actually kind of paying off in a sense. So now, like I said before, in comes Staraptor, takes the rocks damage. I'm just gonna go into defense mode. Unless you're carrying, let's say, Natural Gift with like a ghost type attack, a berry that allows you to do a one-time ghost type attack, you're not inflicting much to anything with the Aegislash. So thanks to the critical hit, I felt the need. I just felt the need. I thought it was like choice banded, and I felt the need to like try to go for a secondary King Shield, because if I would have gotten a consecutive King Shield activation, I would have been in a good position right there. I was trying to make up for the fact that Superior scored a Giga Drain critical hit earlier on. So if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have the need to go for a secondary one, which means in a sense that Mega Pinsir wouldn't be in a position where it would be able to take me out. So that's where the critical hit just like really mattered so much. Earthquake obviously isn't faster than Shadow Sneak. He has no choice in a sense other than to go for the quick attack. So it's like, you know, if I was in defense mode with that amount of HP that I would have had I not taken the critical hit with Giga Drain, I would have been in a super great position right here. I wouldn't even be threatened by this Mega Pinsir at all. But something interesting is gonna happen. I'm gonna go for the King Shield, and he's gonna risk it and go for the return. I could have went for Shadow Sneak right there and Yo, I was super surprised at that play, because I was like, why would you do that? Like, I would just continue to use quick attacks since I'm faster. You know, don't risk something like that. I'm a +6 Aegislash. I was super surprised at that, and I was kind of upset that I did not go for the Shadow Sneak on top of that. So now, instead, I'm just going to go now for the Warren, try to protect Stall a little bit, and then go out into my Smeargle for Death Fodder, and then afterwards bring in my Demanitan, and then go back out into Warren. There was a reason why I did that, and I just went back to this video, and I just can't remember why I did that. I'm supposed to just simply bring it out with Warren and go for the protect. But, alright. Whatever the reason is, Mega Pinsir is dead. And now I'm going to have to deal with Heatran and Rotom left over. I think that's what it was. I expected him to use Mega Pinsir at that point as Death Fodder. Maybe he could have like benefited more a little bit by bringing in the Rotom. That's what I thought, because that's something I would do. If he did that, let's say if he brought in Rotom while I protected, he could get off a Vault Switch. Even if I did go for double protect, get a Vault Switch damage, use Mega Pinsir as Death Fodder, and then bring in Rotom again for a secondary damage output with Vault Switch. So that's what I was thinking. That's why I did that double switch right there. Okay, just to make him think that I was going to stay in with the Demanitan so that he wouldn't do that move with the Rotom. So now, because Mega Pinsir is basically dead, so now in comes this freaking Heatran, and I'm so upset that I cannot touch this thing. So I have no choice in a sense. Go for the protect, and afterwards I can just go for Encore, because my set is Frost Breath, Encore, Toxic, and Protect. You know, so it's like more of a support set. I have one attack because I'm not necessarily focusing on attack. I do change it periodically between Scald and or Frost Breath depending on what I'm using, and it just so happens that I have the bottom bunk of the barrel because I have Frost Breath this time. So now Heatran is in a position where it can take me out, and I have my choice banded Demanitan left over. With Rock Slide, he's going to respond back with his Encore move being the Magma Storm. Maybe his last move was like Earth Power or something like that. So if thank God that I like kind of encored it. I was thinking ahead with that. So I'm able to 2-hit KO with the Rock Slide. And in comes the Rotom. Last Pokemon there. 1-on-1, 1v1. Call of Duty. Free for all. Let's see who wins, man. Rock Slide. Look at that damage output. But even though it was specially defensive, I'm not able to take it out. He responds back with a Hydro Pump. And that is a narrow 1-0 victory for him. So I definitely had a lot of fun. Peace. What you doing?